The Lord spoke to Moses, saying, "Speak to all the congregation of the children of Israel, and say to them, You shall be holy, for I, the Lord your God, am holy." Now, chapters 18, 19, and 20, pretty much the heart of the law, if you would call this, they deal with laws of morality. These three chapters, 18, 19, 20, previous chapters included ceremonial laws regarding the Israelites' conduct as it pertained to the worship of God through the tabernacle system, such as the various offerings and how the sacrifices were to be brought and how they were to be received from the priest. Also, laws of cleanliness, or clean and unclean, were included as that pertained to the worship of God under the Mosaic covenant, as it's called sometimes, what we know as the Old Covenant. Now that the new covenant has been established through Christ's sacrificial atonement on the cross, fulfilling all those ceremonial laws, all that they symbolized, Christ fulfilled that. Now the worship of God, the approach to God, can only come through Jesus Christ. "I am the way, the truth, and the life," he said. "No one comes to the Father except through me." I can't say, well, maybe I'll bring a burnt offering today, or maybe a peace offering. That's not how it works anymore. The understanding that the ceremonial aspects of the law had been done away with under the new covenant, that was first revealed in Acts 15 when the apostles and the elders of the original church met to settle a dispute over that very thing. A sect of Pharisees who had put their faith in Jesus, they got saved as their Messiah. They rose up, Acts 15:5 says, saying it's necessary for non-Jews, for Gentiles to be circumcised and to keep the law of Moses. So this debate happened immediately within the church. These ceremonial laws of bringing a burnt offering and a peace offering and different sacrifices. The leaders of the early church got together and acknowledged the non-Jews are already being born again without any of that, just simply by believing in Jesus. And they determined that it was only through the grace of the Lord Jesus Christ that people are saved under the new covenant, Acts 15, verse 11. And they sent an official letter to the Gentile churches, laying no greater burden upon them than these necessary things: to abstain from things offered to idols, eating blood or things strangled, and to abstain from sexual immorality. Those three things really summarize these three chapters, 18, 19, and 20. That's what they told them, that you're not under the ceremonial law, but they retained these aspects of the moral portion of the law. And so this is what we're dealing with here. That early decree by the apostles didn't stop certain Jews who were getting saved from insisting that Christians got to keep the ceremonial law, they got to go to the temple. The nail in the coffin, so to speak, came in 70 AD when the destruction of the temple came, the whole destruction of Jerusalem, and the priesthood was gone. After that, it's impossible to keep the ceremonial law. But this moral law, 18 through 20, is seen as being that portion of the law that is referred to in God's instituting of the new covenant, when he says, "I will put my law in their minds and write it on their hearts," Jeremiah 31, verse 33. What law is he talking about? This is what he's talking about here. And as we saw last time, one whole chapter was devoted to sexual immorality, that which was summed up in the apostles' original decree in Acts 15.